Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to UuultraC. I just came back from the gym and ate some food, the usual drill. Oh, at last, I'm actually almost done making up the, 5 days of the gym that I missed out after New Year's. Whew. Oh my god, I can't believe it. My audio interface just fucked up. As soon as I start the episode, this is so dumb. Give me 1 second, guys. Alright, we're back. Oh my god, I can't wait to get rid of this stupid garbage. Well, I'm not gonna get rid of it, but I will be selling it. I've actually already put this on sale for... ever since I said about, how this thing kept doing weird things on its own. So, probably a good year now, maybe half a year. But I guess people don't really want the Go XLR anymore. It is not as supported anymore, and I guess there's just a lot of better similar things out there. I know that people actually like using the Elgato Wavelink or whatever it's called. I don't think it was out yet when I bought this thing, but yeah, I bought this thing for, I don't know, a good couple of years for sure. Probably a year after it came out in 2020 probably. So yeah, it's been working for a good couple of years, but I don't know, man. I feel like the connector of this thing is just bad. But yeah, as I said, I just came back from the gym and whew, I actually had to refresh myself on what happened on the previous episode because it's been a couple of days and I've been playing Yaoi during that time, right? But yeah, let me actually do the last episode recap. So in the last episode, we still play as Juro, of course. We already are in the current timeline. We're not in the 1 year before anymore. And we went to the point where, Sakura was doing her thing. She was kind of raging about, right? She burned the orphanage. So we were at that point. We also get to learn more about the reason why we found Sakura, right? I thought it was because some random thing that happened, but turns out Juro and Sakura, they met each other. So it wasn't as if she was being kidnapped. So those police officers actually did mistake Kozuka for kidnapping Sakura because Yomi actually gave the okay for Kozuka to have Sakura, at least for a while, right? But of course, Sakura was influenced by... was it by Yomi? I forgot. I think it was by Yomi, right? I think Sakura was influenced by Yomi because he is this shadow thing that can manipulate people's emotions and basically turn them into kaiju. We also got to know more about Nozomi. Yomi was slowly trying to phase out and put Nozomi in his place. This is what I think too. I think that Yomi already had a scenario where he was gonna be the villain and Juro was gonna be the hero. And Nozomi was gonna be the main heroine, right? So he was also the cause of the manager being turned into a kaiju. And what he wanted to do was basically make, I actually don't know what he wanted Juro to do at that point. Because Juro was kind of losing to that kaiju since Nozomi was being taken hostage. I guess what he wanted Juro to do was, even though she was going to turn into a kaiju, he would still be there for her. But of course, he didn't do that since we kind of saw the flashback that turns out that Gorohachi was the one that Nozomi liked. And the reason why we want to keep Nozomi safe is because we promised Gorohachi. But then, we also got the backstory from, surprisingly, it was from Ishiki. The fact that Gorohachi was the one that betrayed Juro, right? Gorohachi betrayed Juro by telling him where their base was. And for some reason that led to Gorohachi being killed too. I don't know why that is yet. We still have no idea. But yeah, what's basically happening was before, you know, Juro said, fuck this, I don't want to live in a lie anymore, is that Yomi wanted Juro to be the hero and he was the villain and he would destroy the villain at the end, right? So he was already, what is it? He already accepted his fate that he was gonna die. Even though I guess he technically wants to go back home. Now it makes me curious though. Does he really want to go back home? Because he was okay with dying, right? He was okay with dying as long as Juro became the hero. But Juro doesn't want that, and Yomi changed into wanting to go to back home. So I have a feeling that we didn't really see what truly happened to these guys at the very end. Because we already know that Juro turned against the Icaruses. He was gonna be fighting the Icaruses at the end. Since we saw that flashback, or not flashback, but we saw that story in Kozuka's perspective. But yeah, this is after we fought with Yomi, and we lost, of course. I actually thought we were gonna win, or I guess even whoever wins, I actually thought we were gonna get an H scene, but surprisingly they didn't put in an H scene, and I'm really glad for that. It would have been quite awkward. And yeah, let us continue where we left off. I believe we also saw Sakura with Ishiki right now. So this is, I believe, before the oil refinery scene. So we're very close to that point where everything is just like blazing. Or maybe it is at that scene yet, I don't know. It might be already after that scene. And it seems that Sakura didn't die because I was skimming through like my last previous episode and I saw that Sakura was talking to Ishiki. So I guess we'll see where this is in the story. The phone wouldn't stop ringing. Every once in a while, someone would come to knock on the door. The urgency died down with the sun, and eventually there was silence. But yeah, I do think this is after Yomi beat us. I wonder how long I had been out cold on top of the tatami. I didn't have the strength or the willpower to stand up right now. Let me bump that up for you guys. It seems kind of slow. Or sorry, kind of low. Taro couldn't understand the paper I had ripped out of my notebook. Taro might be our uncle too. Because he said that he remembered something and he was the one that gave that paper theater to Juro when he was a kid, I think. He gently licked my fingertips. Oh, we also know that Yomi was the one that killed Shinichi, our dad. Probably also our mom then. When I fumbled around to pet his head, he snuggled up to me on his own. Taro's stomach was growling. I opened my eyes.
Arigatou, Taro.
I got up and headed toward the kitchen for Taro. The dishware and food had all been neatly left there. Taro looked up nervously. Smoke was rising from the frying pan as his head gradually dipped. I feel like whenever I read these stories about love and whatnot, it always leads to drama, guys. Maybe that's also one of the reasons that I don't really want to love anything. I'm not just saying anyone, anything. I placed a fried egg on a plate and set it down on the floor. He must have been really hungry. He devoured it as soon as I handed it to him. He relaxed as he stuffed his mouth. That was when the tears began to fall.
まずいとかじゃないの。ジュロのご飯まずくない。全然むしろ美味しいよ。おいしい、おいしい。ヨミのご飯美味しすぎたね。
I agreed with him.
太郎、出かけよう。
I had two reasons to live. One was Yomi, and the other was Taro. I really don't think you should be living for someone else's sake, but that is just my take on that.
食事に行こ
みんな殺す。わほー。
That's Sakura.
他の敵。
う。気分転換しよ
あんちゃんもイカロスはみんな殺す。
Yeah, that was when she was talking to Ishiki. Another house was consumed by flames. The fire was right below me now, making the ground at my feet unstable. So, is this actually the oil refinery? Alright, so I was right. This is before the oil refinery scene. The fire kaiju that appeared again had set the East Asia oil refinery on fire. There was an endless supply of flammable material. Nothing would stop it other than time.
鞘師くん、みんな避難したって。
う。そうか。
でもまだ中にアキラくんが。
黒い影の目撃情報は。
あったって君。ジュロ。
Fanned by the sea breeze, the flames were moving into the lanes. I searched for him through the roaring fire.
ヨミ、
Where are you? Isn't this what you wanted?
ヨミ。
Didn't you tell me Icarus always gets up no matter how much he suffers? The scenes you draw out tell me how to live. Coming here was even more pointless. All I could think was, I hope these flames cover the earth and turn it to ash. I turned around and saw a cloud of light rise into the night sky. I hope you go back to the sky and turn into a star.
倒した。ララン、あのね、一個思い出したの。
So did we kill Sakura? I'm pretty curious whether or not we killed her. We should, right? We should, because as I said, on the very first chapter, we saw the news that Orange was kinda rising in power because of the Icaruses that killed the kid.
太郎、人間だった。ヨミが太郎を犬に変えたの。
わけわかんねえっす。
太郎くんの記憶を奪って太郎くんを犬に変えてって。
そんなこと怪獣にしかできねえっすよ。
だがあいつから怪獣の匂いはしなかった。
あの子は何者なの？
Basically the same as us, I guess. Like an Icarus. Their shock left them speechless. Each of their fears were sinking into each of their hearts. It also makes sense that the items that Yomi was giving out to everyone also came from Taro. He was probably the one that injected them. You know, those things where they can listen to people's telepathically. And then the other one was, I forgot what the other item was. A transmitter, right? Or a receiver or whatever. That was on Sakura, I think. I remained silent. Akira punched me in the chest and grabbed me tight.
さっきから黙ってんじゃねえよ。何も知らないわけねえだろ。
やめてください。鞘師さんだって悲しいに決まってるじゃないっすか。
If I were in their shoes, I wouldn't have been able to trust me.
イカロスを解散する。
一人で抱え込まないでください。
あたいはヨミくんを探すよ。仲間ならちゃんと会って話さなきゃだろ。
俺っちもきっと何かの間違いに決まってますから。先輩はカゴメ先輩のそばに。
Oran and the others left. I turned to Akira, who stayed behind. He held back his miserable frustrations, then turned away without saying a word.
アキラ。
翔ちゃん、助からねえって。
Tears fell at his feet. So this is when Shotaro was all bandaged up, right? That was the point where Chote's guy brought Kagome to the oil refinery.
これが怪獣殺したゴーってやつなら俺はイカロスやめるぜ。やってられっかよ。
He kicked down the door and left the roof. A noticeably strong gust of wind blew by. I thought if I could wrap myself up in my jacket, I could put up with it. But the draft coming through only chilled my body even more. I left this place, choosing a different route from Akira. Lights flickered against the cloudy night sky. Every day, a new building would pop up even taller than the one from yesterday. The city had grown in a blink of an eye. We're exaggerating, it's not gonna come up in just one day. I'd say like every year instead of every day. And yet, I couldn't remember what had been there before. Someone's vision was crushing someone's memories. People could interfere with other people's hearts in the same way. Icarus had taken over my heart. My father had forced Icarus's red on me. I'd always hated that color.
悪玉怪獣の気配はあるか？
I mean, you could have always just ignored your father's pleas. As I said, Jiro, if you're living for someone else's sake, you're not really living. Haru's change hadn't gone unnoticed.
ふかふかって雰囲気するの。
方角は？
Haru froze.
どうしようチュロ。ショタロが怪獣になっちゃう。
Kotaro is Kagome. The snow was coming down harder, making the night shine white. The doors to the houses were all shut tight, shuddering from the return of winter. The kaiju that had broken out of the hospital was quietly flying through the snow-filled sky. Snow was sticking to its round body. Full of fear toward me, only its eyes opened wide.
ジュロ。
どいていたまえ。
でもこの怪獣ショタロなの。
Now that his mind and body had changed, it was no different from any other kaiju. There was a figure in red with him.
アキラ。
He was ready to fight. To fight me, of course.
僕たちが争っている場合じゃない。
時間くれ。鞘師。
The kaiju sat up. He had gone mad with fear, his eyes trembling. He shakes? He shakes? An interesting, noun. His shakes removed the snow from his body, revealing the fluffy kaiju Taro mentioned. He pierced Akira with his sharp claws, then flew high above the trees. I uprooted a bench and threw it toward the right wing. He screeched so loud even the snow seemed to stop. Receiving the brunt of the vibrations, blood as red as Akira's suit fell from his torso. Akira and the kaiju fell in different directions. The kaiju was the first to get up. A security guard had sounded the hero siren at some point. I could no longer turn back. Akira had announced he was no longer going to be a superhero. He had the option to stay down. Nevertheless, hearing the siren, he shakily picked himself up. This time, he faced the kaiju head-on.
今から一発ぶん殴る。目覚めるか眠るか。どっちかだ。
Tears fell as he released his left fist. Blood spurted from the kaiju's busted beak and melted into the snow. He'd been done for after a few more hits. But Akira unclenched his fists above his head. He leaned against the still kaiju and began to sob. If you can't do it, I will.
鞘師。
Who did he think he was coming after? When the same kick hit Akira, he easily went flying and sank back into the snow. That just left. A white veil suddenly appeared and covered him.
人の姿の怪獣は倒さないって決まりじゃなかった？あなたの正義ってずいぶん融通が利くのね。
What was he planning? The wind and snow grew stronger. The gusts blew by and they disappeared without a trace. Akira reached out. Grasping at air, his hand turned to stone and struck the ground. We changed back to normal. I turned away from Akira's tears and began to walk off.
ジュロ、行かないで。行かないで。
アキラのそばにいろ。
やだ。ジュロと一緒にいる。タロのせいだよ。タロが思い出しちゃったから。だからみんなヨミのこと嫌いになっちゃった。何も思い出したくないよ。
Is he like... Does he not have his own... Like, you know... Is his brain like manufactured? So that every time he remembers something, he has to say it? Because it doesn't make sense. He definitely understands that if he says that to about Yomi, everyone was gonna be suspicious of him.
僕たちはヒーローだ。
Heroes go where heroes are needed. There was a man here who needed help.
アキラ、元気だぞ。
It was a nauseating Icarus line. It felt a little less nauseating this time though. Is everyone okay? All clear. This is no time to fight. Let's fight together. Transform. Good job, everyone. We're heroes. Let's come back alive. Justice will prevail. I no longer felt anything.
なぜ殺さないのですか？
総裁。
その人間はイカロスの恋人。
この子に恨みはありません。
命令です。殺してください。
Yeah, see, it still doesn't make sense to me. He was the one that wanted to get out. I guess he doesn't want to get out, yeah. I guess Juro was forcing his own, like, plans on Yomi at the end.
できませんか？冗談ですよ。お優しいですね。
お言葉ですが、これは優しさとは言いません。優柔です。
優柔？
決断力がないという意味ですわ。
Yeah, is it really though? I mean, I guess. Do we even need to kill Shotaro? I thought Shotaro was needed. Does he feel pity towards Shotaro?
身につまされる言葉です。
Do you, Yomi?
それより、どうしてここが？
自分に見えない景色はありません。自分が恐ろしいですか？ならば、自分が怖いと思うイカロスは、さらに恐ろしいことでしょう。
標榜のためならば。
応援しています。ベルクカッツェ。
Animosity toward Icarus was spreading. Reporters were discussing the cruelty of kaiju exterminations on TV. Ruthless, inhumane, heartless, atrocious. They can only say that because, you know, they probably haven't come close to a kaiju when they transformed. If they have, they would have my own apprehension towards them. As I said, if I was a normal human and kaijus were living outside, I don't think I would be comfortable living, you know? I learned all the names used to describe the fear people felt. Jin and Fujiko were at the base. Jin scrambled to his feet at my arrival.
鞘師さん、大変なんす。 先輩がカメラの前でマスク脱いじゃって。
The people were shaken to their core to find out that Icarus's true identity was him.
あたいたち間違ってないよね。
Shin and Fujiko fought to protect the people. Now that those people were against them, they had lost their reason to fight.
俺っちはもう嫌だ。姉ちゃんが望んでたことは怪獣と人が仲良くすること。これでいいじゃないですか。
Okay, his sister died to a kaiju, I guess.
イカロスが悪い。イカロスが真の悪玉。それで怪獣と人が仲良くなるなら、俺っちなんて言われてもいいっす。
Fujiko held on to Shin when it looked like his knees would go out. The two of them left. I sat in my usual seat and looked around. There was no one left to see how I was feeling.
ヨミ。
I had called out that name thousands of times. You know, I'm kind of curious. Is the narrator like only present in Shotaro's perspective? I don't think he was ever in any other perspective, right? This happened 29 years ago. I couldn't help being shocked by the beauty of the Earth when I arrived. The only colors on my planet were red, black, and yellow. So this is Yomi, I assume. How did it get so blue? I believe it's because of the ocean, right? And the ocean is blue because it's reflecting something from the sky, I believe? What did it mean? Despite all my questions, it needed to be destroyed. However, before I did, I split the Earth into two. I'd leave one untouched. I'd fulfill my duty on the other one. I didn't really know how the magnification machine worked. Magnification? It was popular at the time, so I bought it to give it a try, but I had left it in its box. I thank God for a late-night impulse shopping online. So, an alien is basically someone who's living, you know... it's basically someone who, yeah, has I don't know, maybe like a future humanoid or whatever. They clearly have technology that are fucking stupid. But, they're basically the same as us. So dumb. Now I could both destroy the Earth and protect this lovely blue color. That weakness was probably what angered God. My ship suddenly broke down and crash-landed. So they're gonna say that there's a God in this world too? In my confusion, I cut off an arm and made another one of me.
命令です。自分を助けてください。
My other half nodded. That was when a white light started to come close. It was Shinichi, one of this planet's dominant life forms. He wrapped me in a blanket, picked me up, and continued to panic. I wasn't sure what he was trying to tell me back then. All I knew was that he was trying to help me. What did he look like? What made you want to help this thing? I was confused. It was my other half that disappointed me the most. It didn't use telepathy. It didn't speak. All it did was give me a pathetic nod. Every once in a while, one of my 1,000 arms can become its own entity when left whole.
回復に時間がかかります。次に目覚めるまで自分を守ってください。
I had never such restless sleep before or after this. I had buried myself in the dirt. My other half waited for me to wake up in pain. My other half disguised itself as a human woman. She had somehow fallen in love with Shinichi and was probably afraid of me waking up and resuming my invasion. Interesting, so is this our mom? I woke up too soon and my body hadn't fully recovered. While I slept, my other self had given my powers to Shinichi and scattered pieces of myself among the humans. They called this game Kaiju Extermination and had been keeping it up the whole time. I killed them both. So, what I'm trying to understand is that I guess at the very beginning, yeah, they were these kaiju things, it was basically staged, right? So weird though. Why the hell would they do something so useless? I turned their ruthlessness, they turned toward me right back at them. I was mortally wounded and was once again on the brink of death. That was when he held his hand out toward me, like Shinichi had done so long ago. I used my remaining 4 hands to turn into a human. He pulled me up.
足痛い？君のこと、おじさんは怪獣じゃないかって気にしてる。安心して。言わないであげるから。
This is so different.
君、名前は？ないなら僕がつけるね。ヨミ。綺麗な夜だったから。ヨミ。
Yomi.
ヨミ、
僕は十郎。
十郎。
Huh? That was this individual's name. So I guess, it was the one that says Juro, not Juro. Interesting.
全部黙ってるから、その代わり、ずっと家にいて、僕の帰りを待っていて。
What does that even mean?
逃げないでね。その時は、君の足を折るから。
What the fuck is wrong with Juro? He was prepared to kill me.
握手しよう。
When I looked into his eyes, I could tell he also had the genes of our invasive species. At the same time, I realized the one thing he was afraid of was being alone. Juro had also inherited human weakness.
そうですか。アキラさんはあちら側に。残念です。
So human weakness is the fact that they're afraid of being alone? Is it really though? Is it really a human weakness? I mean, being afraid of being alone is definitely a weakness, but is it really something that only humans have?
至らず。
ねえブライさん、お腹減りませんか？
あ？
近所にお蕎麦屋さんありましたよね。エビ天の美味しい。
ここは国立競技場地下にございます。
ああ、そうでした。千葉から取り寄せたら冷めてしまいますね。台所ってあります？
は？
作ろうかと。これがきっと最後になるので。皆さんの分もご馳走します。
めっそうもございません。
あなたの空腹イメージが伝わります。遠慮する理由は何ですか？
ベル。
私たちおそば苦手ですから。
ならうどんにしましょうか。
ベル。
おうどんもちょっと。
なら甘いもの。そう、シュークリームなんていかがでしょう？
ベル。ベル。
Why not just indulge him? He's trying to do something for us.
いえ、いただきますわ。
ベル。
よかった。こう見えて器用なんです自分。ニコ。
ニコ。
The lights were off in the base. I wasn't sure how much time had passed. Taro had come back in the middle of the night and had fallen asleep in my lap. His hot orange tears soaked my knees. I also believed Yomi would come back. I strained my dry eyes in the darkness and thought about Taro's report. Burke Katsu had kidnapped Kagome, then let him go. He was hardly sympathetic toward Kaiju, so he must have let Kagome go for a reason. A decoy, maybe. Kagome was decoy to lure Icarus. Burke Katsu would destroy them one by one. That meant I had to attack him by surprise. Not yet. Burke Katsu was still on his guard. He had to make sure he had won. That would be my best chance. Akira may die. But anyone willing to call himself Icarus had to be prepared to sacrifice himself. Akira and I were already standing on top of a mountain of victims. Today, I took a step forward and punched him in the face. The veil he used as a shield was already gone. He took the full force of my attack. His mask fell apart. He covered his busted face with his hand as blood gushed from between his fingers. He faded and jumped into the sky. I got ready to go after him, but...
Saya-san! Akira-kun ga...
Won't wake up. He won't get up. Kagome pleaded. His silhouette grew distant. I always wondered about something. Why did people ask Icarus for help? Why do people blame others when they aren't saved? Exactly, I don't know. I mean, that's because you probably play God, and people think that you're God, and even God probably wouldn't save you, right? That's what I call human weakness. The fact that they blame God or something else except for their own incapability to save themselves. Sometimes their defenselessness pissed me off. No, I don't think it's sometimes, Juro. It always pisses me off. Akira had been sleeping for 2 hours. He would probably need half a day to rest to heal from those wounds. However, he hadn't regained consciousness at all. There was a noise outside his room. Kagome realized it was Akira and ran out into the hall.
Akira-kun...
Oh, at this point, we were actually in his house.
Akira-kun, 大丈夫だよ。
翔ちゃん、一人にしないでくれ。
ジュロ、さっきの戦い、どうして見てるだけだったの？言ってあげたら、アキラもあんなに傷つかなかったよ。アキラのこと、おとりにしたの？
今夜は静かだな。
I leaped high into the sky. The night sky was starting to brighten. Betelgeuse was shining bright. That's a star? Actually, I didn't know that was a star's name. It's the same color as Icarus. Yomi once saw me while he let me look through his telescope. It was a twinkling red star. Apparently, Betelgeuse had swallowed a nearby star and increased its speed. He said Icarus was the same. He told me friends didn't protect each other. Getting hurt was the proof that you had become someone's shield, their weapon. You told me that when I lost all my friends. Really? Why did you lose your friends, though? Heroes needed villains in order to prove their love and courage. But where should heroes go when the real peace arrives? I mean, this is basically the same as, you know, when people were making lots of soldiers, you know, back during the wartime, right? After the war was over, people were actually really the military or the soldiers basically felt like they weren't needed because they could only strive during wartime. It's the same sort of dilemma. Who should we pass on the baton of justice to? Tell me. You started it. Is that Juro's laugh? I only started acting because you wanted me to. I knew he was the one who killed my parents. I knew who Taro really was. But I played the hero. For you. I ripped the kaiju apart before he had time to transform. The spray of his blood stuck to me. My body was covered in red. Okay, that freaking mask is actually really scary. Because it's a human face. I ripped his face off and put it over my own. The moon seemed to look closer. Wasn't his black body just as black as those kaiju? You forced righteousness on me. Because I was evil from the start. I searched for orange eyes and killed them. This was kaiju extermination, like it always had been. The more I killed, the more red I became. This was how Yomi wanted me to look. I had given it some time to transform, so half my body was covered in orange. It was washed over. I heard someone scream behind me. That Nozomi? It was a regular human woman. Alright. If I killed humans, there would be no other color but red.
逃げてください。
I heard Yomi behind me. I shrank back and turned around.
ヨミ、どこへ行っていたんだ。
Juro is clearly psychotic. I guess when he was acting, he was actually masquerading himself as a human. So he's always been a fucking sociopath. I guess I can understand why Yomi wanted him to act this way. Because look at him! But if Yomi, I guess Yomi didn't really want to be with him always or something. Because if Yomi was still with Juro, I think he would have been able to still be acting, right? Maybe. I don't know. I smacked away the hands rushing toward me. He returned to his original form and looked down at me with an emotionless eye.
なぜ僕から逃げる。まさか君を恨むとでも。あるわけないだろう。
His arms winded around him. My punch must have dispersed them. My fist struck him at full force.
両親を殺してくれてありがとう。
重郎。
縁起づけにされ、自我まで忘れるところだった。
目を覚ましてください。
それが化け物のセリフか!
He was laying on the floor in the darkness. At the same time, his defenselessness made it seem like he was begging me to spare his life. Would he show me his profile this time?
ヨミ、愛している。君なしじゃ生きられない。
His face had caved in, turning it into a pool of his overflowing black blood. Suddenly, his pale hand touched my cheek.
重郎。
Thinking he could still move, I punched him again. However, I could hear his calm laughter coming from the darkness in front of me.
イカロスの映画第1作目の最後を覚えていますか？
黙れ。
笑われ者だったイカロス。悪い怪獣を追い払うことでようやく民衆から支持を得るのです。あなたにそうあってほしかった。本質は変えられなくてもみんながあなたにヒーローの鎧を着せればそれが事実になると。
No. It can't. It's still a lie. It doesn't work that way.
思っていました。自分がしていることはあなたの両親ボッコが新一にしたことと同じです。怪獣を増やして新一に倒させた。怪獣もイカロスも同じしもべだというのに。いえ、広い宇宙から見たらあなたも自分も何も変わらないのかも。
Yeah, we're kind of living beings, I suppose. We're both alien to each other. Even when I try to get up, should be a comma there, my transformation began to wear off. The moonlight fell over Yomi, completely unharmed.
自分の勝ちです。悪あがきはよしてください。
まだだ。
ちゃんとさよならできないなんて、やはり教育上、親は必要なのでしょうか。
No, I don't think so. It's gotta be from your own self, Yomi. Parents can teach anything they want, but if the kid themselves don't accept it, it's not gonna work.
冗談です。親の有無を問わず、ダメな個体なんていっぱいいますから。
Exactly.
あなたは特に寂しがり屋なだけですよね。でも帰りの切符はすでに買ってしまった。
Now that my legs were healed, I kicked up into his face. My foot broke his jaw and bore into his frontal lobe. At least it should have.
十郎、あなたをちゃんと愛していますよ。だからこそのお別れなんです。
I don't get it. Is him being with Yomi actually a bad thing for him?
君がいなくなるなら生きる意味などない。
I don't understand. This is a bit too over my head.
僕は人も映画も大嫌いだ。
Well, I hate people too, Jiro. I don't really care too much about movies. I stood up. Red-like shadows wrapped around my legs and my waist, keeping me on the ground. Oh, sorry. My cord actually died here. Charge it real quick. That. The USB port. Good. Yep, we good. However, it wasn't enough pressure to keep me bound. Knowing that Yomi was also insured gave me so much joy. I showed it by removing my suit and exposing my defenselessness. I wrapped my hands around his neck.
君を見つめていたい。君の目をずっと。
それは夜空を見上げることとどう違うのですか？
Maybe Yomi knew that that's not really living, huh?
君は宇宙より美しい。
またそうやって。
Yomi's gaping head was covered in shadow. I thought I saw a faint blush on his cheeks as the light faded away. The heat from his hands disappeared as he vanished.
あなたのために。はっきり優劣を決めましょうか。
My hands were hoisted upwards. My jacket slipped off my shoulders and fell toward the abyss. Everything I could see turned bright. It was like the inside of the sun pillar. I transformed and ripped off my bound hands. As soon as I landed, I understood the situation I was in. Even though I was the only one in their sights, I wasn't afraid. All I had to do was kill them all. Once I did, even Yomi would have to accept me. I'd show him my strength. So these are like kaijus that he reconstructed, I guess? The recoil from my kick broke my leg inside my suit. They were hard. My leg was grabbed and I was flung away like a toy. I crashed into another kaiju. It put its hands together and brought them down toward its stomach like a guillotine. The kaiju slit its own stomach. It wasn't afraid of death. But I was death, and that wouldn't be enough to beat me. Strength forced through me because I couldn't lose. A black hand grabbed me. It began to crush me from its pinky to its index finger. Something inside my body ruptured, blood rushing up my throat. The red blood I spewed out covered the kaiju's hand. My transformation would wear off soon. I'd have to escape its hand in order to recover. I was suddenly released. My legs couldn't support me, and I fell forward on my hands. All I could see was chaos. The kaiju surrounding me looked like they formed a wall. I needed to get away from them. I needed to get up and let my torso recover. I heard breathing right above my head. Something was touching my lower abdomen. I couldn't turn around. A heat ripped through my suit. I briefly lost consciousness. A second instance of pain brought me back. My spine snapped as I was ripped apart from the inside. It should have been nothing but battle wounds. And yet the kaiju's rhythm and gaze was more humiliating than anything else. What the hell was it doing to me? Its mechanical movements were violating my body and mind. I was thinking of ways to endure it rather than ways to get away. I couldn't give up. Not yet. What the fuck? Is that supposed to be a dick? Yes, it is. What the fuck? This is so fucking weird. Am I supposed to censor this or what? I don't even know. What the fuck? My arms were grabbed and I was forced onto my back. Where we were joined was inevitably exposed. This is the sex scene that you give me in this chapter? What the fuck am I looking at? I wouldn't let them get away with this. The kaiju expanded inside me. A heat pumped into me with enough force to push me up. The kaiju kept moving. A horrible mixture of noise echoed around me. The overflowing black fluid smelled so vile, it felt like my brain was melting. My arms were hoisted over my head. A shadow remained on the ground and extended from my body.
まだ続けますか？はいかいいえで答えてください。
前者に決まっているだろう。
I transformed again.
では、もう少し付き合います。
Black threads slid over my skin from under my suit. Threads constricted my nipples. What the fuck is this H scene, bro? This is so weird.
本当に頑張れば、一日で世界征服できたんですよ。ただ重郎のため、残しておいただけです。
A black pillar rose from the darkness beneath me.
やめろ。
ヒーローが弱音を吐いてはいけません。この自分を犯したいのでしょ。もっと強くならないと。
My shame and my will to fight were fading. I was losing my grip on my consciousness. I mean, if your powers were from him, then it's impossible for you to become stronger than him, right? I couldn't win. I couldn't defy him.
Yomi!
I couldn't hold on to my transformation. As soon as the shadow withdrew, my transformation wore off. The illusion of the kaiju vanished. I was brought back to the original darkness.
これで分かってくれましたか？
I get that I just saw a really weird H scene, yes. I guess.
行かないでくれ。僕には君しかいないんだ。
No. You have yourself, Jiro. I feel like people who say shit like this really need to understand that we are gonna die alone no matter what, guys. You can have feelings for something or someone, but at the end of the day, you gotta understand that. They're not your possession. I struck his cheek with my nails. Yomi still looked down at me with gentle eyes.
君の飼う怪獣には勝てない。だが、君自身にはどうなんだ？
I stood up on shaky legs and approached Yomi. When he caught me in his arms, he squeezed back a little.
一つになりたい。
My knees gave out as I pushed Yomi down with a kiss. So is this gonna be the H scene? Gonna be a really weird one too, I guess. This is like so weird, bro. But I love scenes like this though. It's a lot more entertaining than those smut scenes, guys. My obi was loose and my color disheveled. I turned my eyes toward him.
あなたの愛が生殖を指すなら、それを求めるのは愚かなことです。
I didn't care if it was stupid. I opened the front of his clothes, the moon exposing his snow white skin. Okay, this is actually turning into a full-blown H scene, so I'm just gonna say, patreon.com/Azaikyousuke. You guys are not seeing this for sure. They're gonna show his dick! Yeah, this is definitely Patreon exclusive, sir. I'll still read this, but what the fuck? No. I think I'm not gonna read this. This is turning into like a full-blown H scene. Like a normal one. I'm gonna auto this. This is not my thing.
十郎、
君のものにしてくれ。君に愛されたい。
傷になりますよ。
ヨミ。
あの怪獣たちはペットではなく、自分の分身。痛いですか？でも重郎の中もこれくらいきついんですよ。
What is this, man? What am I reading?
「変身してください」「壊してしまうかも」
このまま。
では後悔してくださいね。
ヨミ。
重郎、また愛を聞かせてください。自分は何より美しいんでしたっけ？今さら恥ずかしがるなんて。
やめてくれ。
このままと言ったのは
Yeah.
あなたでしょ。
Why did he suddenly want to stop? I'm so confused now.
そろそろ本気になりますね。
The H scene
目
done?
覚めたら
Oh my god, the H scene is
自分の
done!
ところへ来てください。
H scene done?
今度はちゃんとさよならを聞かせてくださいね。
Yeah, I guess it's done. Is his dick also ripped apart? Ripped apart? Oh my god. You guys can kind of see that he doesn't have a dick in that, you know, like, that body of his. I mean, I'll probably just censor bits and pieces of it. Like, the nice thing about these 8 scenes that they have in this game is that they're actually not very voiced. So, one of the big reasons of why I really dislike showing 8 scenes in games is that the voice acting gets, you know, way too sexual. This one, not so much. I was here throughout every dialogue, by the way. Usually when it comes to the smut, I'm not there anymore, but I'm like, damn, what the fuck is going on in this scene, yo? The moon was covered by a cluster of clouds. But yeah, Juro said that he wanted, what he wanted was actually a convenient love that suited him. It turns out, the way Yomi loves Juro by ripping him apart, and he actually is not able to withstand that. Maybe that's why Yomi also wanted Juro to become stronger? Because he knew that's how he shows his love? I don't know. I don't know. It was always the same. I wonder how many hours it would take for the injuries the kaiju inflicted on me to heal. What would it take for my decimated heart to heal? Those fears were gone as soon as I thought about you. I've never once thought about giving up on you. You are my only son in this world. What had the people from ancient times done to capture the sun? Oddly enough, I had learned about that from my uncle's library.
Sayashi-san!
Okay, we're at this point now when he's fighting all the Icaruses. That was a big jump.
十郎さん、あんた今までどこに？
The sun could be protected by spilling blood. What? By singing, oh, praise the sun.
真理、何しやがんだ。
By dancing,
何が起きて？
十郎、
死んではいない。イカロスの力を返してもらっただけだ。
そしたらみんな戦えないよ。聞こえないの？サイレン鳴ってるんだよ。
I think he got other issues, Taro. He never cared about anyone else that was in trouble. That's actually how I like the beat too.
みんながジュロに助けを求めてるんだよ。
Who cares about them?
助けて。僕と一緒に怪獣を倒して。
おじさん、そろそろ思い出したでしょう。
I still cherish the crayon my uncle gave me. He didn't force me to be an actor. He didn't want me to be a hero. That must have been why Yomi stole his memories and words. Now he was begging me for justice in the middle of this hellfire.
正義の味方でいてくれ。ジュロ。
誰の指図も受けない。
See? You should have done this from the very beginning, Juro.
君たちは滅ぶ役だ。
I'd put on a play, and I'd take on the role of Satan. To unmask Icarus's arch-enemy, Satan. I liked that name. The city was ablaze. I could hear each of the sirens going off. They were meant to reassure the people, but now they were doing their actual job, which is to instill fear through their warning. Bert Katsu was standing in my way. I went to kick him with every intention of killing him. My toes shot through Bert Katsu's heart. Or so I thought.
あなたは鞘師くんじゃない。
You even know who I am, Oran? You only know the Sayashi that was in front of the camera. That's right. My mask was finally off. I used the speed I got back from Akira to strike a wall.
許さない。
I flung him into the concrete. The blow broke his nails, leaving nothing of his grace behind. It was also exposing his true nature.
イカロス、お母さんが大変なんだ。
Well, we didn't see this when we were in Belle's perspective.
お願い助けて、イカロス。
お母さんはどこ？
This what you call a weakness? I'd say yes, considering that happened. Defeated, Bert Katsu turned around. His transformation wore off as he fell to the ground.
少年、ありがとう。君のおかげで彼に勝てた。
イカロス、イカロス。
ごめんね、シロ。シロ。
So this is what happened to Ishiki when he was given back his life. He was given back his life. The hero's siren screeched. As soon as I was able to fly through the city, I'd stopped those voices calling out for Icarus. They think they can still be saved. They believe they'll be alright. They dreamt of their pathetic hopes as they stood on the precipice of death. Superheroes were most likely to blame for that as well. They hadn't experienced the glory of evil. Don't hate. Don't get angry. Let's forgive each other. Those desires were likely born from despair. The exhibition would be starting soon. Strange cameras from all over the world gathered together. Watch, 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 watch. Watch, watch. Watch as a small ember that fell from a backwater country sets the world ablaze. His voice sure changes during that laughter. Didn't think that was the same voice actor. I mean, you were trying to play as a god, Yomi. I told you, remember? If you try to leave me, I'd break your legs. I'll smoke you out with these flames. That ticket of yours isn't some garbage that can't be burned. A giant mass of iron arrived with the sunrise. I was already up and running to him. The mass of iron was standing in the middle of the street. The eye in the middle of the sandstorm turned its displeasure toward me.
ここまで愚かだとは思いませんでした。失望です。それに。
I don't think he cares, Yomi.
約束は果たしたぞ。ベルクカッツェを殺した。これで僕の勝ちだろう。
ジュロン。
次は誰を殺せばいい？
この自分以外にいますか？
Black was the embodiment of evil. It was the color of darkness that seeped into every person's subconscious. But to me,
世界中の軍事機器を停止させました。立ち向かえるのはあなたしかいません。さあ、あなたがみんなを救うのです。
君は美しい。
呆れた。
I felt animosity toward me. That's Shotaro. Who's the left one? Right one is actually Chotsugai. Who's that left guy? It was them.
あなたたちは怪獣のはずですがどうして
てめえが悪い宇宙人
Oh,
な
it's
ら
Sakura.
俺らは地球由来のヒーローだ。
ああそういうことですかやはりあなたたちは最初からですがもうすぐ終わりますカゴメさんをお借りしますね
Right, they actually got, whose blood was it? Whose blood did they drink? I forgot. They were drinking someone's blood. That name triggered their transformation into Icarus. They were here for Shotaro Kagome. Wait, who was the middle one if it wasn't Shotaro? I thought that was Shotaro. They were prepared to take Yomi down to get him back.
操られてなんかいねえだろ。
君たちを皆殺しにする。黄泉のためだけに戦う。
Both of my arms were ready to break. He retreated at first.
黄泉には触れさせない。
My final kick to his knee was blocked by a red figure. My leg cracked. He was an unbreakable steel shield. His Icarus was in Shin or Fujiko.
このデコスケ野郎
He turned into the dust characteristic of kaiju with his dying scream. I heard someone approaching from my side. Oh, that sounds like Shin, doesn't it? That labored breathing belonged to... No, that was Shin. As soon as the sun came from behind the clouds, I noticed a shadow over my head. Fujiko. They each vanished in a puff of smoke as they screamed in agony. They were all fighting to protect one person.
無駄死にか。
No. His vision was blocked by smoke. His black body stood out against the light.
捨て牌よく読みやがれ
Akira's left fist was coming toward me from my blind spot. I couldn't get away. At this rate, Akira's fist would...
本当に手のかかる
I remember the scene actually. We saw this in the first perspective. Someone had been waiting for Yomi to leave the Iron Giant.
強力プレッシャー
They sent him away.
黄泉
It did. They actually didn't put the voice line or the text there. So at the end, Yomi didn't even want to get out of the earth. They actually forced him out. My father was a quiet man. His true character wasn't that of a hero, but of an extra without any lines. A man like that wanted to be a main character, a hero. He drew out his aspirations in the form of paper theater until he could no longer separate it from reality. Someone actually loved a man like that. However, my father didn't want that love. He chose to take on a role instead. A role was bestowed on Shinichi Sayashi from the heavens. He closed the script. But then, why was I born? Why did my father choose to live when he met my mother? Why did my mother allow my father to live? I Had she given my father a hero mask? I understood now. Masks. Masks turned you into someone else. As long as they covered your eyes, nose, and mouth, people can pretend to be human. My mother loved the man under the mask. I wore that same thing. And yet no one loved the me under my mask. I couldn't be the hero of this world.
それは違うよ。
That.
君は主人公のままだ。
You said not hero but main character. Shujinko? I've heard that so many times that I actually know what that means. Hero is Au, and that is not main character. I became an extra.
僕も君もみんな生まれながらに主人公なんだ。
Yeah, see, he said Shujinko. That's main character. So, I don't know why the translation actually said that as heroes. I don't think anyone actually wants to be a hero. Do you want to be the hero in your story, or do you just want to be the main character? The main character doesn't have to be a hero. It can be a villain, it can be anything you want.
十郎、もう一度スポットライトに当たってくれ。
I didn't need a voice. I didn't need lines. Not everyone wants to be the hero. Yomi. I remained a hero for you. Let's end this farce. There's no voice line for this? I'll find you no matter what form you take. No matter how many trials you put me through. No matter how you try to get me to hate you. Yeah, Yomi doesn't have a voice anymore. Oh my god. I can't leave someone as lonely as you behind. The one who needed a hero the most was you. Yomi. No. I won't die. I won't die for as long as you live. Status? Status or status? Status. Status and fame alone won't make me happy. My happiness is living in peace with you. In a world without kaiju or superheroes, as extras, as weeds growing in some corner of the world, I want to live. I have no problem being an extra with a hushed voice. A voice so quiet only you can hear it. Wait, that's the end? Oh my god, what the fuck? So what the fuck was implied there at the ending? Let me lower the voice there, because it's so fucking loud. I mean, it's implied that we actually found Yomi, but what the fuck? How did we do that when he's clearly being sent off to space? Did a separate Yomi get created in that world where we used the magnification thing? And is he human in that world? Maybe that's what they're trying to say. Maybe they can at least be happy in that world. But the current Yomi is clearly not happy though. I mean, his worries was actually very human. Right? The fact that he was afraid that his loved one would die first before him. And it's a very real thing, right? Because he's going to live a lot longer than humans for sure. I don't know, he basically has eternal life, right? For all we know. Wow, that was short. Wait, what? There's There's no what? What? There's no epilogue for him? That's messed up. No fucking way. What? No. Wait. What's this ending? Is this something new? What? This better be something new. What? Did we ever see this? That's messed up. He doesn't have an epilogue. Oh my god. I don't think we've seen this though, so oh my god, what the? Are we really gonna end it off with this? What the fuck, man? Oh my goodness. So dumb. Is this really gonna be like whole song now? How do I feel about this ending? I actually think it's kind of amazing, to be honest. A lot of things are like up to interpretation though, because they didn't show us like a real true epilogue, right? Kinda reminds me a tiny bit about how they try to do it in like Oshinoko, not gonna lie. Like, they didn't really have an epilogue and just give you this, the bits and pieces, so that you can just piece together everything yourself. Of course, there was a lot of outrage about that sort of storytelling, but to me personally, I actually don't mind that. Because I thought that I got this game like whole figured out, right? But then this happened. I thought that every chapter was gonna have an epilogue because chapter 1 and 2 both have epilogues, but no. Chapter 3 didn't have an epilogue. It was a fucking sad one. If you don't want it to be sad, I guess you can kind of infer what the hell happened, right? I'm guessing they actually do find each other in the second world. And like I said, maybe Yomi does actually have a doppelganger in that world that isn't an alien, and they both can die together because they're both human. I mean, even if you're not human, even if you're both human, guys, like what he was experiencing, what he was feeling is a very real thing. Being afraid that someone that you love is going to die sooner than you, and then you're gonna be left alone, it's a very real feeling, right? But the way I see it, people don't really die, guys. As long as you cherish the memories inside of you, you're still gonna be alive. That's why I'm one of those people that if I find someone, and if I truly love them, there is no way in hell that I would ever marry anyone else. That's why I feel very disappointed with like my dad, with like a lot of other people. Like, my mom died when I was very young, and he, you know, remarried, got another kid and whatnot. I mean, I can't force my beliefs on him, right? And I don't truly think that what I believe is like 100% the right way to think. There is no right way to think. But I do think that this way of thinking is what I want to feel, you know? I believe in this way of thinking. And if people don't agree with it, I don't care. You're free to think whatever you want. Just like how I'm free to be disappointed in my dad for not thinking in the way I want. You know? I can feel disappointed, but I can't force him to change, right? But yeah, this was truly a very unexpected visual novel. Like my friend recommended this to me, and I only know that this was a kaiju visual novel. I really did not have a lot of expectations towards it. As I said in the first chapter, or in the first episode, I thought this was gonna be something more shonen, but whoa! This was full on a lot of emotion-packed story. And it's the sort of emotions that I feel like really caters specifically to someone like me. Who, you know, who kind of needs emotions this strong to be shown, to understand what's going on. Because I feel like I don't really understand subtle emotions, you know? But yeah, this was a complete surprise by me. This took me this took me by surprise. I'd say because I'm right now, I'm also playing this as I am with Amayui Labyrinth Macer, and that has been a disappointment for the past maybe like 10 episodes, since the story isn't going nowhere, the 8 scene is going nowhere. So having to play this side by side with Amayui really made me happy. Because oh my goodness, every time I play this game, it's actually, I don't know, I feel very hyped and excited. Because I just like it. For my very first yaoi visual novel, this is definitely a very high bar. I feel like I'm gonna be very disappointed if another yaoi visual novel got recommended to me and it's not this good. That's all I'm gonna say. This has been an amazing game. I'm probably gonna rate it maybe a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. It's good and it doesn't overstay its welcome. This is what? Episode 13? So it's very short and sweet. I really enjoy this thoroughly. That's all I can say about this game, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I am pretty much blown away by this game. this is one of those things where I really feel like how sometimes when you don't expect anything and then it just suddenly blows your expectations out of the water, that's how it should be. Sometimes I kind of hype myself up for playing Amayui like that, and my expectations are full-blown through the roof, and it didn't meet that. So I'm kind of disappointed in a very bad way. But yeah, this one was very much out of my expectations. I didn't even think that the 8 scenes was gonna be my thing, but I was reading through most of them. Except for the smutty ones. But okay, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Give this video a like if you guys like it. Sub if you guys haven't. Patreon will be getting these episodes early access along with everything uncensored. YouTube members, you guys will be getting these early access too, but the like weird 8 scene like CG stuff you're gonna get censored. Also, for people on YouTube that aren't on Patreon just yet, feel free to become a free member because that's gonna be where I put first episode previews of future playthroughs. With that, guys, this is gonna be another Let's Play down. So I'm gonna be taking the next 2 days off, and next week I'll be, probably like 2 weeks or something. I'll probably roll the next Let's Play for which visual novel it's gonna be. But man, this one has been a very good one. Thanks for this one, Pros. But yeah, see you guys.